Frazer Clarke versus Fabio Wardley. A British title fight for the ages? Or will it be forgotten? Obviously in the past we've had lots of great British title fights at heavyweight. Joshua versus White comes to mind. Exciting fight, exciting build-up, exciting knockout. Will this be the same? Well, Frazer Clarke has a lot more amateur pedigree. He's been to the Olympics, won a medal, boxed a lot of rounds, especially in the amateur division. Whereas Wardley hasn't really had an amateur background. He started off in white-collar boxing and then decided to turn professional. Hasn't had as many fights, obviously. So on paper, Frazer Clarke is the favourite. However, a lot of people fancy Wardley because when things get tough, he comes alive. We saw it out in Saudi, when things get difficult, when you get into those deep waters Floyd talks about, instead of hiding, it's when he comes alive. So although maybe he doesn't have the amateur pedigree that Clarke does, because he has that dog in him, he has that real fighter, he has that real air of a fighter about him. A lot of people think that mentally he might have the edge over Clarke. Wardley is very much a master of the dark arts as well. I heard him on an interview with Steve Bunce and he said he enjoys hurting people. He was very sad in his last match when the ref stopped it because, he was enjoying hurting him. He was enjoying him, making him pay for what he said in the build-up. Although pretty nasty, very necessary for a fighter. And that is why I believe Wardley will win. I think although Clarke has the amateur pedigree, on paper he should win. I just think when shit hits the fan, I think Wardley is going to be the tougher man. I think mentally he's got the edge. So for me, I do favour Wardley, but, I think it'll be a pretty exciting bout. Clarke had a few, decisions where he would have liked a more clear victory as well. On the undercard, a pretty exciting undercard in my opinion as well. Ben Whittaker, the showboating giant, the surgeon, will be boxing. He's boxing, well, I don't know if I say journeyman because he's got a decent record. He's 7-1, but he's fought a lot of one-star guys on BoxRec, so it's not like he's got a losing record. But so I don't know if journeyman's the fair term, but 7-1, lost to a guy who's 1-star, probably not on Whittaker's level. But it's always a great fight. You can always count on Whittaker for the entertaining. I've talked before about his showboating. He's got really good ring IQ, talks well, but he is very respectful. You hear him in interviews and he is very respectful. So although he kind of enjoys his craft with the showboating, personally I don't find it disrespectful, but I would understand if you do find it disrespectful. And then moving on, we've got Viddal Riley versus Mikael Lawal. Lawal last fought Chamberlain. Chamberlain's a pretty good kind of, I would say, kind of just edge of world level fighter, probably European or British level. Obviously, he's currently got the British. Isaac Chamberlain's currently got the British title, who Lawal lost to. Chamberlain, went to war with Billum Smith, but lost, and has also lost to Lawrence Okoli, who Billum Smith beat to win one of the Cruiserweight World Championships. Champion belts. Wrong sport, not football. So, very good fighter. But yeah, Lawal was very unconvincing in the fight against Chamberlain, unfortunately. I'm sure, that's not his best. But basically Chamberlain just kind of mauled him, worked him on the inside a lot, got him in the clinch, and just really kind of went to work on him. And, he won a unanimous decision pretty clearly. I think it was all about 111, 117 in the end. So, yeah, a bit of a disappointing British title fight for Lawal last time. And obviously now he's dropping down to English. Viddal obviously has the belt. How will Lawal do? Well, obviously, judging on last fights, you would favour Riley. Obviously, Riley, thoroughly outboxed Quales, similar to Chamberlain. Lawal, pretty, there was no debate that he clearly won the fight on points. Obviously disappointing that he didn't get the finish, but we've seen in the past that, Riley has got, big hands. He can hit hard. People who sparred with have said, this guy's good, this guy's up and coming, he's not just another YouTuber, this guy is the real deal. We've seen his finishes against Taj. He has a good highlights reel so far. So yeah, I think for me, I do favour Riley, but it'll be interesting to see, how does he do with a step up. It's good to see him taking a step up as well. And I think it's, the right level of progression. There's no real need to rush him, is there? Like, he's young, he's upcoming. One step at a time. Quales, Lawal, and I'm sure, the aim after this would be Chamberlain. And Chamberlain seems pretty eager for that fight. And I think that'll be a very exciting fight, but hopefully it does happen. So yeah, for me, I do expect Viddal to win. I think Whittaker will win. And I do think Fabio Wardley will win. But yeah, I'm hoping it'll be a very exciting night of British boxing taking place on Easter Sunday. I would go through the card a bit more, but I don't really recognise any of the names. It's not quite as big as like the Super 7 that we had earlier. But yeah, big names, big punches, big dudes, cruiserweights, light heavyweight. So yeah, I will be looking forward to the match. And that was just a little quick preview of the fighters. I guess another thing I want to discuss is like Viddal Riley, a lot of people on Instagram seem to think that Viddal Riley and Jake aren't that far off, because obviously the cruiserweight rankings have them pretty similar. But I think there's a reason Viddal has a belt and Jake doesn't. I think there's a reason Jake went after Tommy Fury, but it's not going after Viddal, even though Viddal would be kind of like a logical guy to kind of work his way up to. Not a world champion, but working his way up. You'd think Jake would be in a similar position. But I think the fact that Jake hasn't called out Viddal, well, not to my knowledge at least, suggests that Jake probably realises there is levels to this game. So I think I just clear it up as to why, Viddal is not just a YouTube boxer. Like, he's a professional boxer. He's got a title. He's fought tough dudes in the past. Taj, Quales. I think Viddal's looking at the real deal. Hopefully none of this will come back to haunt me. But yeah, there's a quick build-up, quick prediction, and a quick preview for the fights, if you didn't know who the fighters were or about their backgrounds. So yeah, comment your thoughts in the comments down below. Am I going to get humbled by my predictions? I hope not. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.